Welcome to Baby Day. The truth hurts. I didn't know that, but apparently this guy over here, do your thing, man. You weren't impressed with a 2 year old that's a genius?
No.
What?
And I know people's inclination is to go, well, you couldn't have done that at 2. You're probably right, I'm guessing. Um, Brett, give me a 2-digit number.
Uh, 86,
Cool. Give me another 2-digit number.
22.
108. I added them together about like at least a minute faster than that kid did it.
Wait, I thought he did times.
No, he did addition the first time, you numbnut.
Yeah, but the second time he did times.
Right, with a 2-digit number and a 1-digit number. So give me a 2-digit number.
99.
I like that you're acting like I'm putting you out, like it's so difficult. Give me a 1-digit number, which is what he did.
9.
Oh my God, what is it? It's 891.
Oh, but you're not two.
Yeah, uh, right. If he's 2 years old. So if he had sex with somebody, that would be super impressive, right?
Yes.
Um, because you're not supposed to really be able to do that at 2, in theory.
I hear
Um,
that babies get boners, but then you don't get a boner until you're like 11.
Welcome to the greatest video ever made, by the way.
Yeah, right.
But I like, am I saying that it's not impressive? I guess it's impressive. Both of my kids read at 2 years old. Is that unusual? Yes. Would you like to see my kids read at 2
Not
for a
really.
talent on a national television show?
No.
I'm watching a kid add two-digit numbers. By the way, the fact that you didn't remember that he added them together is disconcerting. And then multiply a 2-digit number by a 1-digit number and take a long time to do it, by the way. Um, could I have done that at 2? No. But I can do it in my head way faster than he did it at my age. So am I supposed to be extra dazzled because he can do an activity that I can do faster than him? Is that a talent? In other words, Brett, if you're a 2-year-old that dances on America's Got Talent, how good do I expect you to be? I expect
Good.
you to be one of the best in the world
Oh yeah.
because you're on a talent show for $1 million competing against people. So if this kid, this 2-year-old genius, and notice I'm putting it in quotes because you can train anybody to do this. So maybe he was trained, or maybe he's just naturally inclined, or maybe he's whatever. Like I said, my kids read it too, right? They were reading at 2 years old, both of them. And so is it a television worthy talent? It is not.
Well, I don't want to see it again, but I'm passing them through.
No, I don't want to see it once, but now I have. So like, so did they all pass him through?
I'm
This
assuming.
garbage of this kid doing math with a single digit number?
Baby day all day. Okay, I got a conspiracy. What if the dad whispers the answer into his kid's ear?
He doesn't have to, because you saw me just do it in my head, right? And this kid's literally writing it out. And there's nothing impressive about it except for the fact that he's 2 is not enough. If he's 2 performing um a Mozart like song,
Hmm.
that's more impressive. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Oh, I do. I
Because
do.
that's something I'm not capable of doing. But a 2 year old doing something that I'm able to do, and I'm able to do it faster, why am I supposed to be impressed? Now, do you get where I'm going with this?
I do, but I still consider him a genius.
Because he's able to add two-digit numbers together?
And multiply.
Let me put it to you this way. I'm going to appeal to your inner racism, and I
Okay.
want and I want the listeners to appeal to their inner racism, even if they won't acknowledge it publicly.
God.
Are you ready?
Yes.
China is a country of well over a billion people, right?
1.24 billion.
Okay. How many?
I just made that up.
I know you did. I don't know why you did that when it doesn't contribute to the conversation.
Okay, my bad.
So, well over a billion people. Let's assume a certain percentage, which is safe, are 2 years old.
Okay.
How many of their 2 year olds would be capable of doing this percentage wise?
Oh,
Based on the percentage of 2 year olds, how many Chinese 2 year olds would probably be able to pull this off?
I want to say 1%, but then it just goes to your argument.
Right. You
Yeah,
see what I'm saying?
I
Let's say
do.
it's
I hate it.
1%.
Yeah.
We're talking tens of thousands of kids are able to do this. And I would challenge you to say this: a bunch of them could do it faster and without having to write the numbers down. Because if you train in an abacus, do you know what an abacus is?
No.
The thing with the beads that you do math. It was like the world's worst calculator, the world's first calculator. So you just click these beads along, click, 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 and you do calculations that way by counting the beads, right? The reason that Asian countries in particular still teach the abacus. I made my kids learn how to use an abacus. It seems weird, right? Because you have a calculator, right? We all on our
Yeah.
phones have a calculator. Why would you learn to use an abacus? I'll just ask that question to you. Why do you think it's beneficial to learn an abacus if you have a calculator on your phone?
If you get lost in the jungle and don't have a calculator.
Right. It teaches your brain to think mathematically. I didn't make my kids learn to use an abacus because they're going to be using it at age 10. I taught them to use an abacus because by age 3, they didn't need the abacus. They could do all the math in their head, like I just did it for you. And they were doing that at 2 and 3. Am I saying my kids could have done what this kid does? I'm not sure. But if I had guided my kids that way to be able to do math on paper, like they did with this kid, could they have done it? I'm going to say probably. But I didn't have my kid out here as a pet performing tricks.
A pet. There's a big
Are
percentage.
there are there are there kids at 2 years old who are bilingual who can speak two languages?
Definitely.
Right. Are we going to put them on America's Got Talent?
I sure hope not.
Me too. So this kid is doing second grade, third grade stuff at age 2. When I say it like that, is it now super impressive?
You think it's second? You don't think it's fourth, fifth grade?
No, not
Okay.
anymore.
You know, they say
My
kids.
kids were doing algebra in school in 6th grade.
Oh my gosh, I can't do that. Wait, wait.
It's a different world now. That used to be like a mid high school thing. Now it's a like pre-middle school thing.
Yeah, but there a bunch of kids nowadays can't even read one of those clocks that.
An analog clock, it's called.
Okay.
Yes, with the hands.
Yeah.
You're actually dovetailing into my next point,
Damn it.
which is they're taking advantage of the fact that we don't really know what kids are capable of by acting like this kid is amazing. Like the best acting job in this whole thing is the judges who have the nerve to act like this is amazing. Brett, did I not just add two-digit numbers in real time and it took me a second? And did I not take a two-digit number and a one-digit number
Yeah,
multiplied and answer in less than a second?
and I tried
Why
to.
is it impress? Why is it? You want to try it?
No, no, I said I
Oh,
tried to make it harder based on the numbers I gave you.
right. You said 99, and immediately when you went 99, my brain went, that's one less than 100.
I
So
know.
whatever, so whatever single number you give me is just going to be that in 100 form minus that number. So when you said 9, it's 900 minus 9. Why was I able to do that? Clack, 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 abacus. So is it impressive what this kid is doing? Yes. Is it worthy of America's Got Talent? No. Um, I don't even think it's relatively remarkable. Um,
So you're not passing it through, obviously.
no,
Are you?
because he's doing what. Here's the harsh reality to me. He's doing what almost anybody is capable of doing with training. He's not a genius. This is not proof of being a genius. It's evidence that perhaps he's a genius. But if you want to wow me, have this 2-year-old do something that I can't do. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. What is it
Just
going to do
being a
next?
little bit ahead of what most people are able to do does not make one a genius. Being able to do something that nobody is capable of doing makes you a genius. If they sat this 2-year-old down in front of a computer and said, hack into NORAD, and he did it in less than 2 minutes, I'm wowed. If they took this 2-year-old and said, we're going to turn the back of this canvas to the audience, and we want the judges to yell 4 different things, 4 different nouns. And so I'm going to play that game with you now. You pretend to be the 4 judges, all right?
Okay.
Howie, give me a noun.
Uh, a cup. I'll go with a cup.
Very good, by the way. Excellent. Okay, Heidi, another noun, please.
I'm gonna go with the dress.
And right now, this kid is working like mad as soon as he hears the word. Okay. Sophia, another noun, please.
I don't know what a noun is. It is a place. How about the mall? Oh my God,
What was that, Hailey? What was that, Sophia?
a mall.
Can you use that in a sentence, please?
I went to the shopping mall.
Oh, okay, a mall. Thank you, Sophia. Oh, your boobs look amazing tonight. And finally, Simon, give us one more now.
I'm gonna try and really mess this up, and I'm gonna say Afghanistan.
Excellent.
Thank you.
All right. So let's list those 4 things again. And we go 1, 2, 3, 4. And the kid turns around the painting and he's accurately represented all 4 nouns. And he's incorporated them in one painting, all 4 together. And it's gorgeous and detailed. Is that a talent worthy of America's Got Talent for a 2-year-old?
Yes.
Yes. The kid performing this little mental monkey trick of being able to do math, not even being able to do it in his head, by the way, but having to write it out, I was bored out of my skull. Brett, there are kids that can do flashcards at age 1 that could probably do what this kid did in their head quickly. I know it seems like I've got to be crazy, right? But if I'm capable of doing it at age 52, I guarantee you there's kids that are able to do it at 2. Now, if you do something at 2 that I think you're incapable of doing at 2, now I'm impressed. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I just don't.
Like, are there great singers at age 2?
I guess for their age.
Really? Have you ever seen a great singer at age 2?
Oh no.
No.
I'm sure
Why
they'd
not?
say Angelina Jordan though. um,
Then why didn't they have her on at age 2?
oh,
Because developmentally, the vocal cords, the way kids speak, this kid sounded like he was 2, did he not?
oh yeah, I did.
Oh yeah, he did. Do you think that kid would be able to sing really great?
No.
You'd have to listen to some kiddie bullshit, right? Don't let the sun come down on me, right? Not, are you impressed? He can sing it
No.
too. No, you're not impressed because he doesn't sound like a refined great singer. That's your expectation, right?
Yeah.
When you have anybody on America's Got Talent, I know we're going off about this, but this is what Brett and I do, especially me,
Yeah.
because I know I'm gonna have to see a bunch of comments about, well, you couldn't do. I've already proven I can do what this kid did, and I can do it better. Did I not?
You did. You did.
Now you can make the argument. Well, at age 2, maybe you couldn't. Sure, but then I'm not on America's Got Talent asking for $1 million, am I?
No. Do you
And
want
this
to?
kid at age 2, like at age 2, honestly, I'm just going to go out on a limb. No 2-year-old will ever win America's Got Talent
No.
because they can't do something better than everybody else.
And where do you go
And
from
if you want and if you want to wow me with, oh, but at age 2 they can do blank, it better be something at least as good as the best people in the world as adults can do to impress me. Otherwise, why are we here? If we're going to shrink every standard down because they're 2, then a 2-year-old should win every year doing just about anything, as long as most 2-year-olds aren't capable of doing it. But you know what? Whoever wins America's Got Talent, almost no adults can do what they do. That's what
That's
makes them
true.
special, right?
Yeah.
If that 2-year-old did some close-up magic like Lynn or anything like that, I'm wowed. If that 2-year-old came out and sang a song and you're like, the voice, you know how we always get wowed? They always have like American's
Yeah.
Got Talent, like, oh, look at this old crusty looking dude, but my God, his voice. If you had a 2-year-old come out and sing perfectly articulate and sound like Adele, winner, absolute winner of the show. But you don't, because that doesn't exist, right? Or else they would have done it. But a 2-year-old doing math on paper and taking forever to do it, to the point where it was frustrating me. You could
Do
see
you?
my face where I'm like,
Oh
dude,
yeah.
you're taking forever. Because
Do you
it's like,
want?
I did that thing as soon as the kids started. I even said the
Yeah.
number out loud. As soon as they yelled the numbers, I went 563. Like, I was like, this kid is taking like 45 seconds to do what I just did in a second.
Should we
Like,
pause and listen to what the judges say and see? And then.
I would love to do that. Yeah, let's
Okay.
pause it. I mean, I
Yeah.
know I'm going off. I refuse to be amazed because people have become dumber in the last 40 years. The fact that the judges were acting like this kid was doing something that they were completely incapable of doing. Oh, I need a calculator. Do you really? Um, because did I need a calculator?
No.
No. And for people who are going to critique, and Brett, give me a 2-digit number.
46.
Cool. Give me a 1-digit number.
7.
Cool. That's 42 plus 280, so 322. Bam. Wow, give me $1 million.
What do
Um,
you do next?
I want to talk about the terrible trend of AGT in the last 3 years. And now it's clearly going to accelerate and get worse. Here's the truth. There is a dearth of original, interesting talent out there. They have now milked the teat of foreigners who do dance that completely blows you away. They can't do it anymore. They've now had multiple winners in that category. Notice that none of them were American, by the way. There's
None.
stuff going on. You know what I was taken by in the Olympics, Brett? I remember, and you remember, we're both old enough to remember the dream team in the Olympics. And when you look at that team now, I think about how remarkable it is that there were guys on that team that could barely move, right? Because they were older, but they felt the need to put them on the team. And I'm not saying Larry Bird should not have been on that team. I'm just saying Larry Bird at that stage in his career was not one of the 12 best NBA players at that point, right? But
Absolutely.
You had to have Larry Bird there because you're having the dream team, bro. And he's still playing basketball. Larry Bird got to be there. For the first time, they're letting professional NBA players play in the
Wait,
Olympics.
that was the
To
first
not
time
have
they allowed
Larry
it?
Bird there would have been remiss. Hell, I'm surprised they didn't like take the gray out of Bill Russell's beard and just shove him out there, right? Because like beyond the top five, it didn't really matter. That team was symbolic, highly symbolic. Remember they had do you remember the college player that they had on the dream team?
No, but I'm going to guess Ray Allen.
It was Christian Leitner. And
Yeah.
the because they were like in an homage, it's like, well, let's have the best college basketball player. And
Duke.
everybody joked that all he was there to do was to hold their bags and all that stuff, which was partly true. But what was remarkable about the dream team is they crushed everybody, right? I mean, crushed them. You know the average amount of NBA players that the foreign teams had in that first dream team Olympics?
One,
One. You know what the average amount of NBA players the foreign teams had in this year's Olympics?
two.
At least five.
Wow.
And the team that they almost lost to in the semifinals had like seven. And they at one point they had an 18-point lead in the second half. And it's only because LeBron started shutting them down, but it's because Steph Curry got hot. I remember at one point during the streak where they just had like this like 14-0 run, desperately trying to beat this team. Curry shot a three-pointer that they desperately needed, and that thing rattled and went in. And I think if that thing rattled and went out, they lose that game. That's how close they were to losing in the semifinals, right? And they eventually won the gold, and everything was great. My point is, the rest of the world, it's not this team sucks compared to the dream team. This team, LeBron was the oldest guy on this team. Otherwise, it was like basically 11 other guys who were pretty close to their prime or very close to their prime. They all played in the playoffs, for example, right? Steph Curry is still able to go out there and do it.
Yes.
I bring him up because the comparison to Larry Bird is Larry Bird was barely able to move in that first Olympics, right? At that point in his career. And I'm not saying they shouldn't have had him there. They absolutely should have had him there because they were going to mollywop every team by 40 points. It didn't matter if you had Larry Bird, Christian Leitner, or me or you out there. Doesn't matter. They're mollywhopping the other teams by 40 points. But this year, you know what they didn't have? A Christian Leitner. They didn't pick the best college player to be on that team because they needed every single person. So the 12 they got were the 12 that they knew, like on any given night, could turn it up and save the U.S. if they had to in a game. That's what they had. And am I saying that this team would have mollywopped the dream team? Maybe because not the starting five versus the starting five of the dream team, but basketball is way more than your starting five, especially in competitive event in a tournament where you're playing day after
Yeah.
day after day. You need everybody on that bench. And I'm saying if this year's US Olympic team plays the dream team on in the semifinals or the finals, they probably beat them. Assuming the dream team had to go through a bunch of capable teams and play at 100%. and not just have it be what it was, which was the Harlem Globetrotters on a professional level. That's what it was. When you're winning games by 40 points, you're
Yeah.
not playing hardcore, slit their throat basketball. The other teams were bigger fans of the dream team than regular people were. You could see it on the court. And a moment told me a lot. And don't worry, I'm going to bring this back to AGT. After the US beat, I think it was Croatia, who were the odds-on favorite to win the whole thing, by the way. The American team wasn't even the clear-cut favorite to win this whole thing.
It was
That's
Joker
how much
on Croatia.
that's how much the world has changed, Brett. Where America is no longer necessarily the favored team. Because America has lost, by the way. In fact, there's a great documentary called The Redeem Team about the team that LeBron James put together to make up for the US not winning gold one time. So they put together like a killer team because it was always just given the Americans are going to win, the Americans got to
Yeah.
win, the Americans got to win. But something really funny happened. The NBA went global 20 years ago, and other teams caught up in talent wise. America's Got Talent has had the same thing happen, where they basically wrung the rag dry of clever, cute acts in America. I bet an interesting video would be us to look at the winners of every season of AGT. And what we're going to see is a complete changing of the guard. At one point, it became, at one point, it was probably these foreign people should probably win, but they're not going to win because it's based on fan voting in America.
Yeah.
Who undeniably, remember those girls from like Lebanon?
Yes.
How easy, that was the easiest time I ever had calling a winner, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like I just like they weren't even done and I went, they're winning.
Yeah.
Because I went, nobody can touch them. But you know what, Brett? In 5 years, America's gonna have a whole lot of people that can imitate them and do it just as good. Now America, I hate to sound like a MAGA or something. I don't mean it that way. But we're not the innovators, we're the imitators now. Because other countries have developed their own. There's an America, there's a Australia's Got Talent, and a Croatia's Got Talent, and a Croatian version of The Voice, and a Portuguese version of whatever. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And as all of these, like, people who are under this misguided notion 30 years ago, it would have been like a foreign film. I'm never watching a foreign film. They suck. I hate to inform the world of this. If you have Netflix and you have
Mm-hmm.
never checked out foreign films or television shows, you're missing out because some
Seriously?
of them are doing way better stuff than we are. Our movies suck. They're terrible. They're awful movies because we don't care about the art of filmmaking anymore. Other countries still do. Our things are purely designed to make money. So the superhero movies, they actually kind of suck. Um, and since Endgame for Marvel, they haven't put out a good fucking movie since,
What
except for
was
Deadpool and
that?
Wolverine was entertaining at least, but they've been terrible
How
because they
long
don't make
ago?
good films. But I'll tell you, like, has America put out a limited television series that was compelling and interesting and as Squid
No.
Games? We haven't. What we did was make a reality version of Squid Games and wonder why it sucks so bad. Because we don't know how to tell compelling stories. Other countries have picked up telling compelling stories. Other countries have influenced our action movies. John Wick, which is dope, is Hong Kong kung fu movies
Yeah.
and gun saint movies. All of these terms developed in Asia. The gun saint movies and and the stunt director for John Wick, who ended up directing those movies and writing them and did a
Right.
great job. Like, did a great job. Like, but it's the exception, not the rule. The best stuff is going to happen abroad because Korea went on this massive thing where they like just sunk millions, billions into their entertainment industry 20 years ago. Remember that song Gangnam Style?
Yeah.
Well, Gangnam Style. That was a complete manufacture from Korea where they just went, we're going to take over the world singing charts. First video, by the way, to get 1 billion views on YouTube because they just said, we're going to force our way into the entertainment industry by scientifically making things that are catchy. And it worked. Can you name a modern boy band? Like one that came out in the last 5 years that's a star in America?
No.
No. But K-pop is a whole industry. Like,
Yeah.
like K-pop is such a thing. So one of my 3 jobs is I work at this Japanese restaurant, and next door they have like a tea place. It's called Dreamy Tea, where they have boba, Japanese, and all those kind of things, right? So they're having a K-pop group I've never heard of in my life called Artemis showing up in Orlando, and they're doing these fan events at all of these tea houses where you can go and spend a certain amount of money and get a bunch of swag, you know, lanyards, pictures. They're gonna have cardboard cutouts of the K-pop group you can take pictures with.
But not
And the K
not even
and the
real
K-pop
people.
group and the K-pop group isn't even making an appearance,
That's
Brett.
what I'm. That's crazy.
It's crazy. And it'd be a group like you've never heard of them. My kids never heard of them. I went, you ever heard of Artemis? And they're like, I don't know what that is, Dad. My kids who were like hip about everything,
Yeah.
hippest music, hippest, and they didn't know what it was. But that Dreamy Tea place said, we're gonna be absolutely packed. And they go like, and there's a small chance that that group might show up because apparently sometimes they just pop up at these things and people lose their minds, but they almost never show up. Like again, other countries have taken over this stuff. So America's Got Talent. I'm calling it. I'm saying it. What is this kid's name? This 2-year-old's name?
What day? What was he? I was saying,
Baby,
Baby
Baby
Day.
Day,
Yeah.
Baby Day. Baby Day is the beginning of the end of America's Got Talent.
Oh
because
wow.
because now the judges have gone from being truly amazed to having to act like they're amazed. I think if you sat those 4 down, even the dumbest amongst them, who's the dumbest of the 4 judges in your opinion? Boy, that's a
Heidi
maybe. Yeah.
or
I guess it depends on what your
or
definition of dumb
Sophia
is.
or Howie,
Or Howie, right? But you
but
notice who he
not
didn't
Simon.
say?
But
Nah,
what?
never Simon.
No.
Because Simon's strength was the appearance of integrity. Does that make sense?
Um.
He's the one you really have to impress, right?
Yes.
He's the one
Yes.
who he's the one that audiences trust the most.
Mm-hmm.
And even he is bowing down and pretending that he can't do math for the sake of trying to bolster up a 2-year-old
But
who takes a minute to do something that I can do in my head in a second. He's pretending that he's amazed.
he's
And
the
I'm sure,
executive producer.
Brett, there are competitions between smart kids that would blow you away. Like, I used to watch these series of like 5, 6, 7 year olds that engage in these competitions week after week and they eliminate and they get down to like who really the smartest kid is. And I got my kids on that stuff, like some of the competition things they do, which is like they'll just name a part of the body because there's hundreds of organs and bones and all this kind of stuff, right? And basically you would just the competition was they would just go like pancreas and the kids would have to identify where it was in the body instantly and tell you what the pancreas did and I'll answer all these questions about the pancreas. So these like little kids would have all this stuff about your body memorized, and that was just one of the competitions. And then there would be memorization contests where they would take a deck of cards, like imagine I had a deck of cards in front of you and I go, Brett, you ready? And you go, yes. And I would just start flipping the cards and you would call them out as I was flipping them, right? Ace of diamonds, two of clubs, and I would go through the whole deck, and then I would pick it up, and then you would have to recall all those cards in order of 52. And if you were unable to do it, you would get eliminated from the competition. These are little kids, and
I,
90% of them were able to do it.
I'd be
So
impressed if an adult did it.
right, but the thing is, there are probably more and more people who are capable of doing that, because to do that thing of memorizing the cards, there are mnemonic tricks that you can do. And so now there's a group of kids that are learning these mnemonic tricks. When do they start them learning it?
Age 2?
Age 2.
Why is age 2 the start?
Because you're in a developmental stage that matters. Before age 1, there's really nothing going on except your brain is forming. Which is why, when do most people take their first step?
1?
At the end of age 1.
Oh, okay.
Right? That's what toddlers or 2 and 3-year-old. They call them toddlers because they're like still figuring out the walking thing. Give me a 2-year-old that can sprint in a line, America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
Give me a 2-year-old capable of truly impressive dance moves, America's Got Talent. But don't give me a 2-year-old that takes forever to do math that I can do quickly. Because what he is a slightly advanced 2-year-old that we're labeling a genius. I'm saying that word has to mean something. And by labeling him a genius, they've impressed you, they've impressed most of the people watching. I'm not impressed, because if somebody is a 1 in a million, you know what? There's 330 just like you, just in this country alone.
Ooh, never heard that one.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, well, not to mention from a showmanship aspect, watching a kid do math on paper has to be the worst act in the history of the show as far as showmanship goes. That's a terrible act.
I kind of wish that dad was not out there with him.
That would have been additionally impressive. Notice that the kid did not have witty responses to anything.
No, he jumped around like a child.
Yeah, because he's 2. So what he's doing is basically something that you can train somebody to do. There's no evidence of genius whatsoever. Genius is about applied knowledge. The kid isn't applying anything. I'm not saying he's not capable of it. I'm just saying he's just doing a parlor trick of, I can do math. You can train people to do math. I'd be more impressed. Okay, give me here's a 2-year-old answer the question honestly. If the answer is, Steve, you're wrong, I can handle that, Brett. But here's a more impressive thing than a 2-year-old, and I guarantee you that there are 2-year-olds capable of doing this, by the way. Brett, say a word, any word.
Mosquito.
Great choice. Now imagine you said mosquito, and I had like one of my kids when they were 2, and they did this. You say mosquito, they tell you what mosquito is in Spanish, Chinese,
Oh, wow.
French. See, you're already wowing. Why are you wowing?
Because that's impressive and it's entertaining.
Yes. You know what's not entertaining?
This.
Watching a kid do math badly. In fact, I'm going to go out on a limb. Are you ready for me to go out on a limb?
Yeah.
I think they edited that thing. I think the kid did more than just the 2 problems. But I bet you he got at least 1 wrong.
Whoa. We know.
Because multiplying a 2-digit number by a 2-digit number is a hell of a lot harder than multiplying a 2-digit number by 1 number. And anybody who knows anything about math knows that. Brett, how fast can I do 2 digits times 1 number? Super
like
fast. But you know what? Anybody can be taught to do that, including a 2-year-old. Give me a 2-year-old that speaks 7 foreign languages fluently. I'm wowed. Give me a 2-year-old that can speak four foreign languages fluently to the point where they can pass the vocab test. And then imagine this act. Okay, so you said mosquito, and they say it in 4 different languages. Bop 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 bop.
Yeah.
Cool, right? Now say a sentence, a famous quote from a movie, and you would say famous quote from any movie.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
Amazing. And then the kid goes like, "Charlie Boule chocolat."
Oh,
But you're
that's
laughing because it's awesome, right?
okay. Okay. So this was impressive, but not entertaining. You don't even
It
have to
it
think it.
was entertaining, and I'm arguing to you that it's not even as impressive as they're making out to be. It's all of the bells and whistles of calling this kid a genius. That's how you introduce this act to me. Oh, this 2-year-old genius.
That's what the title said.
Right. And it's the same as me saying, put it this way, I would be more impressed if I said, um, we're about to watch um, Billy, the 2-year-old chef, and
Mm.
this kid had all these ingredients in front of him. And they go like, judges, what do you feel like eating right now? Look at your menus and pick something. And the 4 judges went, they get together and they go like,
Oh, I like that. I like that.
we want eggs Benedict. And the kid in less than 5 minutes whipped up eggs Benedict and they ate it. And they had a special guest judge of like Bobby Flay or Gordon Ramsay or even Rachel Ray's untalented chunky ass. And they came out as a chef and ate it and went, this kid, like, this is as impressive as anybody working in any of my kitchens. Is that more impressive than a 2-year-old doing simple math on paper?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not just, I'm saying it's not entertaining. It's not. I'm saying that even if the kid was better with the answers when they asked him questions at the end, I would have been impressed. What I saw was a typical 2-year-old who's been trained to do math. And there's nothing, as an Asian, I'm sorry, you're not going to impress me with a kid doing math.
Asian.
Sorry. Like, I'm like, how many kids in China are able to do this at age 2?
Um,
The mind boggles, right? And if this is the new standard, Brett, here's what's crazy is you're gonna get 2-year-olds now doing stuff, but it's gonna be a million times better than this kid.
the comments are everyone is very, very impressed. Child genius. He even displayed how he came by the answer, showing us that he's not cheating. He's doing it all by himself. What an incredible smart child. Kudos to the parents.
And this is my big comment on this. People are impressed because they themselves weren't pushed and they themselves did not push their kids. Super harsh, right?
Pretty harsh, yeah.
I mean,
Everyone
you've
says
met
it's
both of
genius, except for one
you've
person who says it's not a talent.
it's not a talent. Who's that person because they're right? That's my ultimate point is it's not a talent.
Um, Jennifer Graham.
And did
Wait. No, it
people
wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
did people reply to the person who said it's not a talent?
I'm sure a lot of people did.
I
Uh,
want to read the replies because I can
it's
tell you what the
gone.
replies were. You wouldn't be able to do it.
What
Brett, did I
the,
just do what that 2-year-old did 1,000 times faster than that kid?
why is it gone?
Because they're keeping all the negative comments off because that person's right.
What the heck?
Do you see what I'm saying, Brett? Like
Yeah.
now the game is pretending that, or like slightly unusual things are amazing, that trained kids are geniuses. Like that's the game, is now they have to manufacture being amazed.
Someone said we
Because it's,
need. Someone said we need more of this.
oh, I'm congratulations, Brett. You're gonna get more of this, mark my words. But this is the beginning of the end of AGT, because we've seen it all before. And if 2-year-olds doing math on paper slowly is what passes for talent, we're in huge trouble.
Oh my God! Someone said that the fact that he's writing is incredible.
It's incredible that a 2-year-old can write.
Yep.
Is it really? Why was his penmanship unbelievable?
No,
No, he wrote like you would expect a 2-year-old to write,
this is a
right?
child prodigy. That's what they said.
Because he can add two numbers together, and because he can multiply a 2-digit number by a 1-digit number. People are amazed because, Brett, are you ready for this?
Yep.
People are dumb.
We're gonna be
In
the
this
only people
in
saying,
this world, Brett, and this is going to get your video mad heat. We are in a time where people straight faced say Donald Trump is a genius.
yeah,
A C- student who would not let his transcripts be released threatened to sue the high school if they released his transcripts to the public. Why did he do that?
so people wouldn't know that he's actually
Not a genius. So what does he do? He literally calls himself what? It's a famous Trump quote, right? He's a what?
um.
I'm a stable genius.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he gave himself the title, and people believe it. There's a
stable.
huge group of people who believes that he's one, stable. Who has to call themselves stable, by the way? He calls himself stable and he calls himself a genius. What we know about Trump now means if he's calling himself a stable genius, he's neither, right? But if you give yourself the label, if you do enough to impress rubes, you become a thing. You know, I'm a stable genius. I'm a tough guy. Like, he's smart in the sense that all you have to do is say a thing again and again and again and again, and eventually people just go, yeah, you know. Um, like again, I'm sorry I'm demanding more, but America's Got Talent should go to everybody who gets passed through, in my opinion,
Yeah.
should have a chance to win. One, I don't want to watch this kid slow write math anymore. And I suspect he doesn't have any other tricks in his
I don't
under
think
his sleeve.
so
I
either.
don't. Do you think this 2-year-old knows more than one language?
No.
No, he can barely speak English. Truth,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, jump around. You want to be my agent? Now, if Simon says, "Will you negotiate my next deal?" and the kid goes, "Oh yeah, we're gonna get you a higher percentage on the back end, Simon."
Okay. Okay. Now we're talking.
But the kid didn't say that. What did he say?
Yeah.
Are you impressed? Is he a genius?
Oh wow. That's an interesting point right there.
Mastery of language is a sign of intellectual capacity.
We're gonna
Do,
be the
do,
only ones negative in the comment section because
of course, because they probably delete anybody who's negative.
they deleted there was one person that said this is not a talent and
It's not a talent.
that
They're right about that too. Remember all the times I argued about what is a talent and what isn't a talent as
yeah,
far as different things go?
yeah.
Like, this isn't a talent. And it's certainly not an entertaining one, even if it is a talent. You know, it's like, I would argue that, like, the Olympics to me is a good example because it is the people who are the best at certain things. However, that doesn't mean people don't slip in there for whatever reason. That's why that breakdancing woman is so famous right now. That terrible breakdancing lady, because they had breakdancing as a competition in the Olympics, and she went out
Oh,
there and completely shit the bed because it
wait,
was a brand
really?
new thing. Yeah, you, Brett, like you are so out of tune with what's hot
Oh
because
yeah.
the memes of this girl like doing the thriller hands. I mean, it is the most embarrassing. Her breakdancing routine is so embarrassing. It's like agony, right? And so people have like done this thing of her doing the like cringy hands. They put her as like the raptor in Jurassic Park, or that she's about to curb stomp this guy in American History X. So she's the new meme because people are laughing. But what makes the meme so powerful is the Olympics is supposed to be
The
the
best.
best in the world competing with each other. But because breakdancing, it's so subjective that this broad got in there and flopped around the stage, and it is so cringy and an embarrassment to breakdancing and hip hop that they're not even going to have breakdancing at the LA
That's what I was gonna
Summer
ask.
Olympics.
Wait, should we pause and see if he does another if this kid does another performance and what he does?
Bro, I think that is the exact right thing to do. So what we're
Okay,
gonna do is Brett is gonna see if we can find Baby D,
baby day.
Baby Day. Thank you. We're gonna see if we can find Baby Day. And Brett, can I make a prediction?
Yes,
You're not gonna be able to find it, and you know why?
because they're not gonna. Is
Because it's garbage. Because it's garbage and it's not entertaining.
uh okay. I don't know what to look for.
What you look for is find the original video,
Uh,
get what they caption it, and then if they have the kid's name, just put that in a search.
Okay, baby day. Oh, it's baby Dev. Okay,
DEF. Well, now you know. Yeah.
baby. Wait, baby Dev. Wait. Auditions. Oh, Kelly Clarkson met him. Leaked 2-year-old genius schools the judges on AGT. What does leaked mean? Wow, you're right. Oh my God, he was in one of the America's Talent 10 best auditions. Wow, the smartest 2-year-old in the world, baby Dev.
Why, Brett? Because I'm telling you, this is where they have to go. America doesn't have talent. Other countries have talent, right? Other countries have caught up and even surpassed us. And so now we have to find where can we find an American that got now we have to go to 2 year olds. But you know what they're not going to do? Let 2 year
Wow.
olds from other country enter the competition. Hear that, Brett. They're going to have to let the American 2 year olds and 3 year olds and 4 year olds run rampant for a few years. But then it's going to become apparent because there's going to be a kid that's 2 years old in America, in China's Got Talent or Botswana's Got Talent or whatever, that's going to do something that's going to blow away anything any American 2 year old can do. And at that point, the walls are going to crash in because it'll be like, what is this show even about? It's like we're calling doing math a talent.
I
What's next?
I think
Is
what
there
happened.
let me ask this question, Brett. Is there a 2 year old that can play the violin almost as good as somebody in like a professional orchestra?
No,
Yes.
there is.
Oh, bitch. You don't think you don't think people don't in other countries don't have their kids training on a violin at age 2?
Oh, that's true.
I see videos on Instagram all the time. There's this guy that plays piano, unbelievable in like public spaces. So he'll pick a piano in like the mall and he'll just start playing. And what the videos are people coming up and going, "Oh, can I play with you or can I sing with you?" And it's just regular people coming out of the crowd and blowing him away with their talent. Lately, the thing has been little kids showing up with instruments who are able to play the most difficult, like my my kid plays the violin and sends me like, Dad, look at this 5-year-old playing literally the hardest piece to play for a violin at age 5. And they're just wailing away at it while this guy's playing the piano. The piano guy, professional, barely able to keep up with this kid. Like, the kid is 5. Guess what? That kid at 2 was probably pretty great already. And at 5 is like concert worth. Like, Brett, it's the evolution. The more people see things, it's like basketball. When America was the only one that did it, boy, did we kick ass. Now
Yeah.
we're not the only ones that do it. Everybody else does it too. And the more that we pretend that America dominates everything, our movies are better. No, they're just more. We just make more than everybody else. But if you bother looking, the last great zombie movie, I guarantee you it wasn't American. It was from Korea or China or India or wherever. They, Last Train to Busan. That doesn't sound American to me, and it was pretty unbelievable because again, they imitate, but then they
Yeah.
innovate, and then we. I
Yeah.
mean, where are we getting our horror movies now? We're getting them from Asia and redoing them because they're doing what we did better than anybody, better than we do it now. That's crazy, right?
There's two options. Either they did that thing where they look at who's going to go through, or they saw what his next act was going to be, and it was so bad or so similar, because all those things about Baby Dev I saw, it's all the same thing, same clipboard, same thing. It's nothing different.
Brett, if he's barely able to multiply a 2-digit number by a 1-digit number and he takes a minute to do it, you think he can turn that act up? No. That's the ceiling of what he's capable of doing.
A minute is how
It's
much
not like he's going
time
to
was
come out
on
for the
the.
next act and go like, he's like, you know, yell out any number you want, and I can tell you what digit of pi that is.
It could have been
You know,
4 minutes.
like
We don't
he
know,
does. He can't do it.
but it could
The
have been
kid can
4 minutes.
barely do. The kid can barely do third or fourth grade math.
We don't know how long he actually took to do it.
Now you're feeling me, right? I
Yeah,
guarantee you they edited that thing down, and they
yeah.
probably edited out him not getting an answer right.
Well, I thought there was 3 clipboards there, but maybe there was 2.
Oh no, I'm sure there was 3. Brett, you feeling me? Who does
Yeah.
an act of 2 things?
Well,
Everything's in 3s.
everything's in threes. You taught me that. Comedy is in threes. You taught me.
Comedy in 3s, singing is in 3s,
Yeah.
storytelling is in 3s. His act is supposed to be here's addition, not very impressive. Here's simple multiplication, not very impressive. The third part of the act is supposed to be something crazy. Give me a
Was it
3-digit number and a
division
2-digit number, and I'm going to multiply them together.
or division?
Division's not very exciting. People don't understand division,
Okay.
right? But give me a 3-digit number and multiply it by a 2-digit number. It's a whole different thing, right?
Yeah, that's true.
423 times 40, 1,600 and 1,000, yeah, 1,920, by the way. So, um, like, I'm interested in the evolution. That's how I'm going to approach this season of America's Got Talent. Is I'm going to approach it as like, what can this show do to stay relevant? How many seasons of the show have there been? Can you look
I
that up
don't
real
know,
fast?
17 maybe.
Brett, why are you have a supercomputer in front of you?
And also, I would like a quote from you.
Ask the question of your computer. How many seasons of AGT have there been?
Okay. And then I need.
Instead of guessing 17. Brett, if you think there are 17 seasons of this claptrap, you and I have covered at least 10. I don't think you understand how numbers work. I
But
guarantee you there are more than 17 seasons of this shite.
I do need a quote from you to use in the in the title about Baby Dev. Um, I don't want.
The beginning of the end. How Baby Dev represents the eventual painful death of America's Got Talent.
19 season started 2006.
Yep. 19. They are out of ideas. They are out of talent.
Well,
How many singing acts is there going to be a singing act better than the better ones that they best ones they've ever had?
I
No.
don't
Now every
so.
season we have a magician who looks like and doesn't act like Chin Lin. Don't do we
Yes,
not?
yes, yes, yes. Because
It only matters if you're better than him. That's what I'm saying, Brett. The show can't survive unless you find people better than the people that they have.
and
The
they're
second
all
they let people, the second that people like Darcy Lynn won this thing, it was already beginning to unfold. Because
and
you can like Darcy Lynn, but in no planet is that kid the most talented person in the country.
I I Jeff Dunham's probably better.
I guess if you like shit,
Ha, ha.
like none of them are doing. Here's my point, and it's the reason I'm so hard on comedians and stuff like that. It's because the truly greatest comedians, it's not about a 3 minute set that's like huh, huh, huh. The best comedians in the world are philosophers,
Yeah.
and this format doesn't encourage that. You're not going to get a routine of N-word versus black people from Chris Rock in a 3 minute set on America's Got Talent. It's not going to happen. You know what
Or
I mean?
or the
You're going
guy
to
that
get
says the seven words you can't say on TV.
right. What you're going to get is variations on Seinfeld going like, "What's the deal with airplanes?"
Ha!
Like that's what you're going to get. And it's all personal stuff, right? I'm disabled, so I'm going to talk about being disabled.
I got Tourette
I'm a
syndrome.
foreigner to this country, so I'm going to talk about that. And I'm not saying those aren't valid forms of expression. I'm just saying you're not getting the best comedian.
No.
The best comedians in the world aren't going to do this shit. Like if you look at the first season of Last Comic Standing, for example, you know what's incredible is the people on that competition. Every one of them became this unreal famous comedian except for the guy who won.
No way. Really?
Yeah, you have like Mark Maron is in the first season. One of the most influential modern comedians. And he's on there griping because the Asian guy who's winning literally turned comedy into math, where he would write jokes on cards. And then before he would go do his set for the competition, he would just arrange the cards. And his whole act was, my mama sound like this. It was all like the lowest common denominator Asian stereotype jokes. But he won because again, he could go out there and do a killer 3 minute set because he got what the game was, and these comedians that would become these great comedians didn't get the game, which was your job wasn't to impress the other comedians in the competition
Oh.
or to come up with the most insightful knowledge about relationships or the differences between men and women. Your job was to go out there and get yucks as fast as you can. And this guy understood him going like, you better do your homework or I pinch your ear, was going to get a big laugh.
Yeah.
Right. So, but that guy doesn't work in comedy anymore because he's a hack.
Wow.
Right. And what I'm saying is America's Got Talent is going to be hack city, bro. You're not going to be wowed and amazed by season 20. It's going to be like, okay, here's a singing act that's pretty good. Like, here's a songwriter that's pretty great. But are they a better songwriter than, I don't know, John Legend or Bob Dylan or
Louis Capaldi.
no, they're just really good comparatively. I can't wait to watch this season of America's Got Talent, but I gotta warn people who watch your videos and like them, I'm coming with both barrels. Marquito, get ready, because this far into this show should not be on the air anymore, is my argument. It is a variety show that is well past its expiration date on the milk carton. And we're seeing evidence of it. We have a 2-year-old doing math slowly and being called a genius.
I almost didn't watch this season. I know, I wasn't gonna cover it, but I didn't even watch it. Like, so that means I'm not even that big of a fan anymore. That's crazy. This used to be my favorite show.
But all things evolve, right? Um, but we're in a time where people just can't let things end. Um, how many seasons of South Park are we on? How many seasons of The Simpsons are we on?
Oh my
It's
God.
unbelievable. They won't let
Wow.
these things fucking die. And I don't blame the creators. Get paid, fool. I get that part. But do they still have anything relevant to really contribute to the society? South Park tries. Oh, we have the COVID special
Yeah.
or whatever. They try to stay as relevant as they can, but the medium doesn't matter anymore. There needs to be other voices. And Trey Parker and Matt Stone from 20 years ago would hate Trey Parker and Matt Stone now.
They would?
Yeah. They would hate that show. They would go like, why is this shit still on the air? Why are we still trying to voice our opinions about what's cool and hip when we're 50?
Yeah.
Brett, the hardest part is acknowledging that there are stages in life and you just have to move on. I'm 52. Like, I have to approach life differently than I did at 22. But I'm surrounded by people who are like incapable of it. 50-year-olds who go, I don't get this modern music. Well, guess what? It's not for you. I could play you some stuff that my kids have played me lately, music wise. And you know what's unbelievable about it? Like, it's not for me, but I can appreciate how unreal it is.
Yeah.
It's this dance music, and my jaw dropped. I went, it's so much smarter than people are going to understand. And I go, well, how big of a following does this group have? This particular like
Yeah.
rap group? And my kid's like, they have not blown up yet. Like, I just heard about them, and so I'm sharing it with you because I knew you would go, you would love it. And I go, I love it because it's so like, it's catchy. It's everything that pop music is supposed to be, but it's also got this like knowledge of, bro, like we're doing this because it's exactly what you want to hear. It is so smart and over the top of like, we know that this is a banger. Like we're literally manufacturing a banger right in front of you and showing you like, this is what modern pop music is. It's like, it's the catchiest crap in the world, but there's no substance to it except for the fact that they're showing you this, look, we can just manufacture a hit song.
Yeah.
Now dumb people would go, yeah, but is it a hit? But the point of it isn't, is it a hit? The point of it is, yeah, but it should be. Because but like we're basically giving
Yeah.
you everything that you love in pop music and we're spitting it at you at 100 miles an hour. It's so funny. It's the name of the song that Tyler played for me was I'm the baddest bitch in this club. And Brett, that song will make you want to like go out and punch people in the face. It is so like hyped up and awesome, and then everybody they have as a guest on their track is releasing their own album. So it's this whole clique of people who put each other over.
Oh, nice.
So like there's this girl who jumps in called like Aisha Erotica, and so she jumps in. They was like, "Yo, jump in, bitch!" And then she just was like, "It's me, bitch!" And then she has her like little blurby part, and it's so catchy and in your face and ridiculous. You know, she's like, "My coochie's tight, my blah blah blah," and then you realize like if you follow the link, it's basically music made for the modern era. So
Yeah.
if you go like that Aisha Erotica, I wonder if she's got a thing, and you realize she just released her thing at the same time as these other guys, that they're literally putting each other over on each other's album to get you to listen to the other one. And her shit is like this over the top women empowering shit that is so ridiculous. Dumb people will go, "Oh my God, this is the end of music." And smart people will go, "Oh my God, she's basically making fun of
Yeah.
modern female singers and how over the top they are by being more over the top." So she's got this whole song about um I don't fuck dudes in Cadillacs. So it's this whole song about like Cadillac isn't a nice enough car for me to have sex in, and
Oh,
it's so
wow.
ridiculous. But they're making music to basically take advantage of the modern world, which is like a bunch of people will listen and go like, "This isn't music," and a bunch of people will listen and go like, "This is so offensive and this is setting women back." Like clearly she's doing all this stuff as a joke. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I mean, her name is Aisha Erotica. It's ludicrous. And what's
Mm.
really funny is she sounds like she's like like a freaking Nicki Minaj type,
Yeah.
but she's this like skinny white girl,
She, I was gonna ask if she
which
was
makes
white
it
or
even funnier. So you look at her album cover and it's just her like sucking on a lollipop,
not.
and you're like, oh my god, it's just like this young white girl who's just like I'm sure her and the other group is like Danny Phantom and somebody else. I'm sure they just sit and he's like this Asian dude. So he like all of his raps are about like a you never thought an Asian could go hot like this and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous because it's like, but it's so well produced and perfect. And it's just like, I'm the baddest bitch in this club. Who the baddest bitch in this club? I'm the baddest bitch in this club. It's all like I every time I listen to their songs and they've got a whole album,
Yeah.
I go, I feel like I've heard this song before, but I haven't. It's just they're doing a play off of music in the last 40 years.
Yeah.
And again, that's where we're going. Like AGT to me is it's not relevant as it used to be for a million reasons. One, it's on network television, which already makes it not cool, right? Who watches network television? Like I just realized, even though I don't have cable anymore, I'm like, oh, I do have Peacock, so I could watch America's Got Talent. But would I ever go out of my way to watch it? Probably not, because if I want to see the most talented people, I don't know, they're out there on Instagram.
Do
Like I'm
you
constantly blown away by stuff that people are doing on Instagram.
do
Like
you ever
the
get
the
sent?
new trend. Have you seen this trend of these women who move slowly? So they act like they're walking, but they're just in place doing this thing. But it's so, and then they can slow it down to every
Oh
minute
yeah,
detail, and
I
then they
see that. I
speed it
see
back up.
that.
Like I would give me that over a 2 year old doing math slowly. I'm like, I could probably find in my Instagram feed a million things I'd rather see than a 2 year old doing math slowly. There's a lady who plays these songs. She has a bunch of like little kid instruments and toys, and she just plays like modern pop songs with these like ridiculous instruments. And it's awesome. I would rather watch that. The problem with America's Got Talent is their competition is social media. And
When was the last time?
social media will always be hipper and cooler than America's Got Talent will be.
When was the last time you got sent something from America's Got Talent where someone said you have to see this person?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
Um, it was the that troupe of dancing women that would do the like, you know, they would do all that shit together. That was the last time someone's like, hey, you know what, Brett, that is such a great question because people would send me that thing and say, Steve, you would love this.
That's what kept the show going because that
But why did they win? It's the story. That's
Story.
how I knew they would win, because I was like, their story is we're not allowed to do this in our country,
Nope.
and it's about women empowerment. Um, that they were the right zeitgeist. Do you know that word, Brett? Zeitgeist.
I do not know that word.
Zeitgeist is sort of the feel of the times, right? And the zeitgeist in this country has changed a lot. Um, and it continues to change, right? I mean, a month and a half ago, Trump was going to win the election.
Yep.
He got his
100%.
ear he got either his ear clipped by a bullet or a piece of flying plastic, or he cut himself, or whatever it was. It doesn't matter. At that point, he was really going to win. And then Biden got crushed in a debate because you know what really got people upset about the Biden performance in the debate? It's because we realized a simple truth, which is the Democratic Party had been lying to us. They had been basically propping that guy up. And once we saw it in real time, people were outraged. So they did the only thing that they could do. And what happened was they captured the zeitgeist of the moment. Trump has not been cool for 8 years, but the Democratic Party did something unbelievable, which is they made a vice president cool. That has never happened before.
No. This was.
And then she picked a guy who is tailor made to do this stuff as her running mate. A guy who 20 plus years military service. He was a teacher. He was a football coach. He's an old white guy, and he's willing to make a joke about somebody having sex with a couch.
Oh.
Like he's the dad that everybody wants. They finally figured out the key to politics, which is if they go, it's not if they go low, you go high. If they go negative, be the most positive thing in going.
Oh.
Like, I would want to go to a rally, not because I want to be supportive of politics or whatever. I would go to a rally just because I bet you the Kamala Harris rallies are so much fun to be at. In the way that Trump rallies, if we're being honest, were probably really fun once upon a time. Because you'd have this guy up there who's running for president saying crazy shit. There was a time where that was cool. People want to deny it. Trump won because people hated Hillary Clinton, and
Yeah.
he was willing to, and he went about and destroyed every Republican in that primary. And he was
Destroyed.
fascinating because he would go out there and say crazy shit like, but people are pretending they were outraged about what he said about McCain. They weren't outraged. They were more like this. What the fuck did that dude just say? Like, he had the zeitgeist at one point,
I
but
prefer
he
my
never
heroes not
really
being
had it.
captured.
He never won an election with the majority of votes because most of the country kind of knew him as like, he's just a dumb shit. But he convinced enough people with that label genius. America's Got Talent is going to spend an entire season convincing you and selling you on these people are amazing. You're going to hear this phrase a lot from the judges, Brett. We've been doing this a long time, but I have never seen blank like blank. I've never felt this way about. You're going to hear so much hyperbole and lying. That's the part that's going to make this show unbearable to watch. Once the show becomes more lies than truth, it's on its way out. And um, you know, you can lie to yourself all the way into an early grave. The fact that they brought American Idol back makes me really sad because it's like, just let that thing be dead. It has no
Yeah.
relevance or importance. There was a time where losing on American Idol, you could still be a household name. Think about how crazy that is.
Jennifer.
Ruben Studdard. I mean, I can say names and you'll be like, "Oh my god, it's pretty crazy." Yeah, I can say moments from American Idol and you'll be like, "Oh my god." It's like pants on the ground, looking like a fool with your pants on the ground. Brett, that's unbelievable. That I can make that reference and you know what I'm referring to,
I
right?
think Jennifer Hudson lost.
Yeah. And there and here's even more relevance. Their first winner became a star
A real star. A
to the
20.
point where she's a judge on a copycat reality show and makes millions of dollars being in the judge's chair. Unreal. She
Yeah.
banged,
She got
she
her own talk
banged.
show.
Oh baby, when she move, she
And she
move.
moves.
William, yeah,
Yeah.
William Hung, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The embarrassment of Asians everywhere. But like that guy, pants on the ground, is more famous than anybody who's been on that show in the last 10 years. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And America's Got Talent too. Like, they should be proud. They've created a cottage industry. Every foreign country's got their version of it.
Yeah.
Simon probably has more money than God.
Yeah.
They've done an amazing thing. But here's the crazy thing: the American version only exists to prop up all the foreign versions. And if you're the best of the foreign versions, you can come to the American version and win the damn thing now. And so that's going to create a floodgate of like Indian dance troops and all the rest of that stuff. All the groups that conned Brett into thinking they were going to win year after year after year.
Hey, they
Right?
disappeared off the face of the earth. That's not my fault. They were
Well,
captured.
maybe they did, or maybe they make a pretty good living in India. I
Yeah.
bet you they do. Um,
Well,
because at the end of the day, the American show isn't the end all be all. You know, the most interesting clips I see, thanks to you in my feed,
um,
I will get singing acts on my Instagram from usually foreign versions of the voice because they're doing innovative stuff. The American version is the most boring version because it's just
oh,
like
it is.
people who sing pretty good. But like the foreign versions, you have crazy stuff happening. Like really little kids who sound like grown-ups, who when they turn that chair around and go, "Oh my God, that person's 6." And that person sounds like James Brown or whatever. Like that's where we're going,
And the
you know?
grown-ups are trying different things instead of just being really, really good. Uh, they're doing different things with their voice and trying different songs. In America, there's like 10 songs. Like, oh, I'm gonna do this is my fight. If I hear about that fight song again, I swear, like, come on.
Yeah, I
But
mean, you know, because I work at restaurants and I cook and all of this stuff, there's a million cooking competition shows. And now there's a million specialty cooking competition shows, right? Baking competition, barbecue competition. They break everything down. But now Netflix has a show like The Drink Master, where people are making bar drinks and it's a competition
mixed drink,
show.
I like that idea.
I mean, it's cool, but then Brett, doesn't it also indicate like what the fuck are we doing?
Oh, I
Like
don't want to watch
bartenders
it.
are
I
going
like
like,
the idea, but I wouldn't watch it.
I mean, I am watching it, and they are gorgeous, but it's like, how many seasons of this could I watch? How many times
God.
can you see somebody take liquid nitrogen and freeze a thing, and then like, oh look, the
Oh,
multi
nine.
layers of whatever in the glass? Because ultimately, what doesn't work about the drinking show versus the cooking show is I can watch a dish made and I know what it tastes like. I
Okay.
cannot taste what they are tasting in the drink,
No.
right? Because they're like, oh, this has got hints of blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, holy fuck, nobody drinks that way. People eat with incredibly complicated palates compared to 30 years ago. Cooking television has changed the way we eat. Brett, one of my overnight job is at Burger King. And you know what's crazy about Burger King? They do more layered, complicated dishes than the gourmet restaurants I've worked for. Do you
really?
want to hear what goes into a fiery bacon Whopper? So you have the Whopper patty. You have this like spicy layered sauce that goes on a brioche potato bun. Let me fucking say that again. The fiery bacon Whopper is a brioche potato bun with spicy sauce, which doesn't sound like much. But when I look at the ingredients on that thing and how they made it, it's as complicated as any sauce that Bobby Flay makes, right? It's just in a bottle form.
Yeah.
So you have that. You have their Whopper patty. That's the only thing on there that a Burger King person would even recognize is the regular Whopper patty. A pepper jack cheese, and then a bacon, which we actually have to prepare by shaking it in this spice, doing it in the oven, and that ingredient list on that shit on that what they would call a rub in barbecue terms, right? It's got like 8 ingredients, and not ingredients that you can't pronounce, like preservatives, but I mean like brown sugar, paprika, like a serrano pepper ground into a powder, like as complicated as any layered top chef Cornish hen with a marguerite sauce bullshit is in a Burger King burger. That's what foodie culture has done to us, where even Burger King is like, oh, look at our Philly wrap, which is a breaded crispy chicken with a royal sauce, which is like basically a version of a hollandaise, with a Swiss cheese, and then a combination of peppers and onions in a tortilla wrap. Like the fuck, this is Burger King. It used to be
Yeah.
like, here's a patty, here's some sliced American cheese, here's some ketchup, here's some pickles, here you go. And now, like, foodie culture has changed everything. What I'm saying is this bartending show, nobody's going to become one of these people that drinks like 30 layers in a drink, people, because it's too expensive. People are
Yeah.
still going to go and they're going to want a Bud Light,
Yeah.
or they're going to just want, like a Sex on the Beach or a Long Island iced tea. That's as complicated as most people get. It's fun to watch, but it's not going to change the culture, because people are not going to be like, yeah, I want to pay $15 for a drink. No,
Mhm.
they're not. So America's Got Talent, like what we're demanding is, I'm being unreasonable. I'm saying a 2-year old is basically talentless. But my point is ultimately, like, what can a magician do that we haven't seen a magician do? What can a mentalist do that I haven't seen a mentalist do? You can hear me groan whenever these acts start. It's because it's so typical. How many times can they pull the scam of, what is this person going to do? Oh my God, they can sing. Oh, I couldn't believe it. Right. I was thinking of this because friends of mine were talking about how Puddles the Clown now
Yeah.
does this cover of a metal cover of a song they really like, and they're going off. And I'm like, I knew Puddles. I worked for Puddles in
Yeah.
Atlanta when he was Big Mike. And so I was telling them the story, and they were fascinated, right? Oh my God. Because in their mind, Puddles the Clown was this like character, and I was humanizing him. And ultimately, Brett, you've heard me say this a million times. You've said this a million times. America's Got Talent is ultimately about the story. The story matters as much as the act. And what is this kid's story? He's a 2-year old who acts like a 2-year old, except he can do simple math. Like,
Yeah.
not interesting. Like you said, if he was there without the dad, that's different. If he blew you away with his answers, if he convinced you that he was a genius,
Yeah.
that's different. But instead, you just got a bunch of people saying he's a genius to try to convince themselves that they're not wasting their time watching this. Ouch. And
Yeah.
eventually, people find out the deal. Eventually, enough people just get tired of things.
Well, he
And
didn't
that's
move on.
exactly what's happening to Trump right now. People are just tired of it. And they can give him all the advice he wants. Stick to the issues. What issues? What issues could that orange monkey talk about that would matter?
Well,
Like,
yes, and
he's doing the only thing that he knows how to do, which brought him to the
fear
dance, which is like,
mongering.
I just got to insult until I win.
Yeah.
But this time it's just not going to work because he's trying to insult the one person you can't insult in a
A
modern
black woman.
society.
A black woman. Yeah.
Yep. Who was smart enough to pick a guy that, like, middle of the road, mildly white, racist white people can still feel good about.
Yeah.
Like, right? It's all about feeling and vibe, and that's who wins these things. It's why, Brett, no offense, you in the early days before me, you did a great job of picking the winner.
Yeah.
But I
Before
I
you.
pick the winners because my whole thing is different. My thing is all about zeitgeist and vibe, right? When I picked Brandon, it was because, oh, they've never seen spoken word before. I've
Yeah.
been watching spoken word my whole life. I know they're about to be blown away because they've
Yeah.
never experienced it before. I knew that. And he won, and you were taking the intellectual approach. You weren't wrong necessarily, but when you're like, oh, but he picked a topic that they're not comfortable with. I'm like, no, he was
Yeah.
smart because he picked a topic like a Black Lives Matters topic. And he
I
just has
thought
to
at the
win.
end.
He just has to win a percentage of the vote. He doesn't have to win the majority of the vote. I understood how voting works, right? Like, he's just got to have a passionate 20%. Like, Trump showed that, right? You only need a passionate 35, 40%
Yeah.
and demoralize the other side into not voting. That's what the game is. And unfortunately, he's screwed because Democrats are excited because now they get to act like these idiot Trumpers have acted for years. They get to chant stuff. They get to be excited to go vote instead of, I'm voting against Trump. Now people are like, no, 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 I can feel this. I'm voting for her and I'm voting for this. Have you ever seen a vice president that mattered as much as her vice presidential candidate? People love that dude, man.
They do.
People love him. And he's a great opening act. Like, he comes out and he says great stuff and he makes jokes about JD Vance.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I'm I'm looking forward to him debating JD Vance more than I'm looking
More
forward to
than
her debating Trump
he
because
somehow
he's
made it
going.
entertaining in Nebraska. Like in
I
Nebraska,
mean,
he made it.
JD Vance is he's what dumb people think a smart person is. And I was surrounded by them in the academic world, you know. You've been surrounded by them in the wrestling world.
Yeah.
Um So, Brett, eventually we're going to have to make a prediction, but I have an idea. I want a prediction right now from you.
Okay.
What kind of act is going to win? I think we should start there before we pick specific acts. Don't look at your computer and try to see who's relevant.
No,
I'm saying what
I have nothing to look
map
at.
a map a trend and try to predict what kind of act is going to win. Are they going to be a are they going to be a dance troupe? Are they going to be a comedian? Are they going to be whatever? Are they going to be a okay, so here's the two things. What kind of act is it? And are they American or foreigners?
Well, you made I thought a great prediction that an American would finally win. I'm wondering if America finds their favorite young white girl singer again. Uh,
Mm, great prediction.
yeah.
I'm going to say an American and a man,
Okay.
and the act is almost incidental. I don't think the act matters.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Well,
I want to say a comedian, except for the fact that mm, whatever the act is, it will be joyful. The emphasis will be on not emotional depth, but on, you know,
happiness.
you feel good when you watch them.
Yeah. I almost said a comedian.
I know you're partial to the white girl singers, and I think you might be right.
The problem is that there's usually three singers in the finals, and then they split those votes.
So maybe they'll make it so it's not that way.
That's true. if there's one white
I'm
girl,
not speaking conspiracy minded. I'm just saying, like, in
yeah.
terms of, when they're able to eliminate stuff, maybe they eliminate stuff.
Well, this has kind of been the uh the free show for what our show is gonna be. So get
Which
ready.
is tearing 2-year-olds apart.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
and me
like,
trying to protect everyone.
mm,
Me trying to be too nice, but then agreeing when you debate it and make a great point where I have to agree because you're right.
I mean, do you want to watch this kid do math for 8 weeks?
I don't want to
Like,
watch it ever again in my life. I
wow.
think it's worse than Guantanamo Bay. Oh God,
When I
jeez,
was, it's just so hard because the Olympics going on really highlights, like, because the Olympics is supposed to be the best people in the world. And for
yeah,
the most part, it has been. I mean, the women's gymnastic team, mind blowing. The track and field team, like, I found myself watching the Olympics. I usually don't really care that much about the Olympics, but it would be on when I was at work. So I'd watch and just go, like, this really is amazing. It's just people who are doing stuff that I'm not capable of doing. And America's Got Talent is supposed to be the same vibe. People doing stuff that I can't do. And now I'm supposed to be impressed because a 2-year-old's doing something that I can do better than they can. It's crazy to me. That should be a good rule of America's Got Talent. I shouldn't be able to do the thing that you're doing better than you do it. If
I
so,
like
you should not advance. Is that not
it.
an easy standard?
That's a good standard.
It doesn't matter if you're two. If you're not great, if you're not one of the best at doing whatever it is you're doing, why are you on my screen?
Why are we watching you?
Being two should give you an advantage over an adult. It should be a tiebreaker. It shouldn't be an equalizer. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's my opinion. If you disagree with it or agree with it, comment below. But
Yeah.
just know you're going to have a really hard time moving me on this one because that kid's math was painful for me to watch as an Asian.
I think you made me speechless. Um, baby Dev, congratulations, kid. You're now gone for the competition. But
Is he?
yeah, I couldn't find they're already in the quarterfinals and he didn't make even the that's weird. He didn't even make they didn't even let him do a second performance. That's crazy.
I I gotta say, I also hate acts that are insulated against criticism, and that's what I don't like about a 2-year-old act too. Is
Yeah.
really, are the judge going to sit there and tear apart a 2-year-old act? I
No,
would,
never.
of course, but like,
Well,
who else
yeah.
is going to do that?
I might, depending on my mood.
Yeah, but
Well, we want to hear your comments. If you're still around, you're
I'm telling you, break this thing up into smaller clips.
oh really? Okay, maybe some shorts.
Do some shorts as well as putting the whole thing out because me basically saying a 2-year-old doesn't have talent, like, it's blasphemy, but it's also 100% accurate.
Ah,
Oh,
it's hard to disagree. It's not entertaining. I'll say that.
that's definitely true, right?
Yeah, that we can definitely say. Um, all right. Well, if you are ready for this season, and we're going to be a little harsher. Our standards are going to be a little higher. We expect.
And I'm sorry, we're smarter than other reaction channels. Brett, I'll just say it since you don't want to say it. I'll say it.
Okay.
I brought up everything from American culture to the Redeem Team to the Olympics to whatever. My standards are high because I don't like watching this shit in the first place. So my standards are always going to be higher, and that's okay. Brett loves this stuff. And so we bring two different, really different energies. By the way, I'm looking at the Redeem Team right now. Um, I think it's an important cultural touchstone and icon. And, American Idol served a very valid purpose during COVID, which is they were trying to go like, we know lots of people are watching because they can't leave their house. So we're going to try to keep things positive as possible. Remember, they kept saying that during COVID?
Oh yeah.
They're an American institution, but we have to face reality. And Brett asked the most relevant question of this whole thing, which was, when's the last time someone sent you a clip of America's Got Talent? And the answer is they haven't. So this season is going to be about them. That's another prediction of trying to be that relevant clip culture again.
Yep. Well, we'll see. We'll be here, and probably this will be up in a couple days or tonight. Hopefully tonight. But we'll be recording periodically, and hopefully we'll be recording before the weekend, and so we'll make a big dent, maybe 10 videos, 20 videos in the next week. But be prepared because we're gonna be honest.
I'm the baddest bitch in this club.
Yeah. Well, I'm baby.
You want to know the name of that group? I'm gonna shout them out because it's
Yeah.
so awesome. The name is Joey Valence and Bray, Brae. Joey Valence, Valence. The Baddest is the song featuring Aisha Erotica. Listen to that song and tell me it doesn't change your life. In fact, I want to see if they have something online and maybe Brett and I can react to it because I want to get Brett's honest reaction to hearing it for the first time.
Hey, I'm down.
Cool. Peace and
Um,
love, baby.
peace and love. We'll be right back. Get some water. Um,
Wait, what?
wait, what?
What did you say?
I'm gonna go get some water.
That's our close? That's the button?
I don't know. I haven't done this shit in a long time.
All right, all right. No, we gotta have let's have a good close. You go. You're good at closing.
And for the Peace and Love Reaction channel, this is the Truth Hurts side, the side that you don't like no more. But I'm Brett Douglas.
And I'm that baddest bitch in the club, Stephen Platinum.
And I'm Baby Deb, and we'll see you next time.